Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I am here to share your daily aspects. Today is Saturday, May 28, 2022. The sun is in Gemini, and this is a time of year when we seek out the things that stimulate our minds. We want to learn something or have exchanges with others that are engaging and that inspire and motivate us. Gemini's ruling planet is in retrograde and reminds us at this time to listen, to pay attention to the details, and ask questions. The moon is in Taurus right now, where Mercury is retrograde. Venus enters Taurus today, and Uranus has been hanging out there for a few years, keeping us on our toes regarding how we maintain security. And the North Node is there in Taurus, also helping us to maintain focus on getting what we need to feel supported. So the Taurus vibe's pretty strong today. Moon in Taurus calls us to slow down and become grounded in the resources we have so that we can focus on growth. The waning crescent phase here is still inviting us to clear space for the next creative cycle, and with Taurus involved, I'd say the impulse is to clean house and make ready. I'm going to go ahead and get into the aspects, but first I will point out the handcrafted key on the right-hand side of the page. Most of the symbols on the page have made it into the key, so if you desire a point of reference, it's right over here. I've otherwise divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon is the luminary that sheds light on our inner lives. This is your relationship with yourself, what it feels like for you to be in your body, heart, and mind, and in your home. The transits and aspects that the moon makes are all very brief, and they have a subtle impact on those things you think, feel, know, and intuit, but may choose whether to express. The sun is the luminary that sheds light on our outer lives, and this is the outward expression of yourself in the world, specifically in your work, social, and civic spaces. I address the sun and the rest of the planet's movements on this side because these have a greater effect on that outward expression. And we start on the moon side today at 8:50 this morning. Central Standard Time, friends. Moon goes conjunct to Uranus. There's an impulse to shake things up at home, make some changes to the plans maybe. Conjunct energy here amplifies impulsive to compulsive and doesn't always guarantee positive gains. Don't forget to communicate with those you live with before doing anything too drastic. And then at 9:46 a.m. on the sun side today, Venus makes ingress to one of its home signs, Taurus. The planet that opens up to receive attention and affection is in the sign for physical comfort and sensual pleasure. This can be a very romantic, even sexy transit. Issues surrounding jealousy and possessiveness are likely to come out. Mercury's retrograde is currently in Taurus, so the communication about and around sex and romance can be challenging. So be cool, Fonzies. Take it slow. Say what you mean. Be generous with yourself and others. In the ongoing column, Venus is sextile to Saturn, here with us through May 29th. So this is our receptive, attractive nature, Venus, working together with Saturn to create a sense of security. In friendship and love, we seek out companionship, steady company, that familiar, reassuring smile. But Venus also applies to the goods and services, the compensation, actually, we like to rely on. Some of us may be looking for work or looking for a more secure position within our company. The sextile energy here tells us that if we make an effort, we can find that added sense of stability. Venus is also square to Pluto through June 1. So friends, recall what I've been saying about Pluto retrograde and how it will expose things that are not working out in our lives, including toxicity in our relationships. This vibration here is the balance to Venus sextile Saturn in this way. When we seek that reassurance from a trusted source and we don't find it, this may trigger some deep insecurity about how lovable we are or how well people are likely to treat us. This insecurity will find expression in manipulative or petty behavior, and because Pluto is trine down here with Mercury, this petty behavior will be seen for what it is and somebody will call it out. Mercury is retrograde through June 3rd. Our speedy planet for thoughts and plans and communications has been an apparent backward slide for 2 weeks now. Soon it will slow down and become stationary as it prepares to move forward again. This can be especially a week of frustrations and delays. If you haven't slowed your roll to a more deliberate and thoughtful pace by now, there may be a real moment of reckoning on the horizon, so just be warned. The problems that Mercury in retrograde cause often have to do with the speed and facility with which we are used to seeing things happen. Efficiency isn't everything. It's good to slow down, attend all the details in your plan, measure twice, cut once. Today is the final day for Mercury sextile Mars here. Under normal direct circumstances, this would have amplified Mars's more initiative-based impulses. Mercury being retrograde, though, it brought a more of a slowdown to it. The slowdown is there to help us, again, attend the details and avoid pitfalls. Slowdown does not mean to stop work, though. The sextile energy with Mars here lends a lot of initiative and momentum. So keep moving forward, keep taking action on those things that you know you can. Just take a deliberate pace and pay attention again to the details. Ask questions, listen to what people are saying to you. Today is also the final day for Mercury sextile Jupiter here. Good fortune has been present in our efforts to plan and communicate. Even with Mercury in retrograde, Jupiter has been here to expand our analytic capacities, giving us a very clear look at the possibilities for growth and increase we seek for ourselves. Now may not be the time to rush into any commitments, sign any contracts, but while we have that clear picture, we've been able to plan for the details, making note of those things that we can take action on. The Sun is sextile to Jupiter here through May 30. Cooperative vibrations between our conscious lives and the benefactor here are bound to generate good things for us, and what you think on grows. So put your attention and your actions where you want to see the abundance come in your life. Give it your best planning and efforts. Wherever you focus, you will receive this growth energy, okay? Mars is sextile to Pluto. Oh, I didn't put that one in there. Sextile to Pluto right here through May 30th, yet again. So this is our sense of initiative, our will to act, and it's in cooperation with our personal and collective interior depths, those deep and total changes that are coming up for us. Especially now that Mars is transiting in Aries, it's a good time to be listening to your instincts and to be acting on them. The sextile vibe says your efforts will bring about positive consequences. And then Sun is sextile Mars, and this will remain in aspect through June 4th. We know what actions are on our plates, and that's like the actionable goals we have set up here for ourselves with Mercury sextile Jupiter. And dang, I lost track of where I was. I'm gonna have to come back. Okay. Sun sextile Mars will remain in aspect through June 4. We know what actions are on our plates, like those actionable goals we have set under Mercury's aspect with Jupiter, and we have the conscious and physical will to take care of business, so get out and do it. Mercury is trine to Pluto right now and continues to bless us with positive vibes and rich insights through the 19th of June. So even though the Sun's trine energy has faded away or begun to fade away, the Sun's trine with Pluto, we still get this opportunity for insight regarding the way our fears and insecurities are expressed. But Mercury trine Pluto also gives us this foresight regarding the bigger changes that are coming up for us. And this empowers us to be ready so that we can step confidently into our transformations, trusting that we are becoming more real and whole versions of ourselves as we release what no longer serves and embrace what inspires and uplifts. Pluto is retrograde through October 8th. And Pluto has been working its transformative magic on our traditions and institutions for the past 25 years. As you've probably noticed, what was once solid and foundational to us is now not so reliable. We've had to learn in many ways how to diversify our hopes and expectations as well as our fears, and we are not quite done with this journey, or the journey is actually not quite done with us. So Pluto is direct for about 6 months out of the year and retrograde for the same amount of time. And the retrograde period sort of turns those transformative vibrations back toward the inner life, transforming the parts of ourselves that we can't see or don't generally pay attention to, that subconscious stuff. This is the time when things that don't work in our private lives will be painfully obvious, like the insecurity coming up here with Venus square to Pluto, exposing our own insecurities and trifling tendencies and those of others. This is a time to be gentle with ourselves, but to also do the work of transformation, which means we have to wake up to ourselves and the stuff we're doing that isn't working so that we can evolve that way of being into something that pulls us toward the better, more expanded version of ourselves that we'd like to be. Coming up this Monday, we'll see that new moon in Gemini, giving us a nice clean slate period of time to tie up the last month's activities and go ahead and begin to reset, hit that reset button and go ahead and begin to set intentions and goals again for the next creative cycle. On Friday, Mercury will go direct again, so it's almost over, friends. It's the second of 2 Mercury retrogrades, and we're almost through the second one, or the second of 3. And on Saturday, appropriately, Saturn will go retrograde, and we will talk about that as it comes up. Okay, that's it for today's astrology. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like my video, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. And friends, I appreciate it so much that you comment to ask questions and provide encouragement. It's very gratifying for me, but it isn't just gratifying for me to know that you're listening. It lets YouTube know that you're engaged in the content, and that helps me out a lot. So thank you. Also, if you know anyone for whom this guidance may resonate, I encourage you to share. And now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about tarot as it relates to astrology today. First, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. And then I'll do a quick rundown of today's astrology before throwing a random card that hopefully speaks to today's energies. So let's get into that. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the 8 of Swords. And the 8 of Swords in astrology sort of represents or links up to the first 10 days of the sun's transit through Gemini. So that's a 30-day transit. We're in the first 10 days, and that's always going to be associated with the 8 of Swords. Gemini is an air sign. Swords are the air of the tarot, so that's kind of the comparison there. And air is the element that talks about our thoughts, plans, and communications, but not just the fact that we have them and what they are, but how we use them specifically, really specifically in tarot, how we use our thoughts, plans, and communications for ourselves and others, against ourselves and others, to try to remain neutral in different situations. So that's what swords are about. And the Eight of Swords represents a moment in a person's life when they've sort of talked themselves into a bind, or into a miserable position. And I say talk, but I'm talking about the thoughts, plans, and communications that we have made to sort of ensnare ourselves in something, maybe something we thought that was going to go really well for us. It just turns out to be sort of a cold, wet, miserable experience. So, you know, there are all kinds of ways that we go about using our thoughts and our plans and our words to create boundaries, to create fences for ourselves, to create situations for ourselves that we deem ideal because perhaps they felt safe, or perhaps they felt thrilling. Often we do it because we want to feel safe. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to keep yourself safe, and there's nothing wrong with having good boundaries. But sometimes when we, use our thoughts and plans to put ourselves in a safe situation, we find ourselves so safe that we're miserable and we're unexpressed, and we don't really feel very happy about the situation that we've landed in. Okay, so this is going to take some honesty with the self. First of all, we have to be honest with ourselves. And then, as we attempt to remove the blindfold and get ourselves free from the situation that we've talked ourselves into, we're going to have to be honest with others. And I'm going to be really clear with you guys that what's been coming up for me the last couple days on this is it being in the closet. Okay, so for everybody, okay, like lots of people have little closets that they hide in, or big closets that they hide in, and they try to present themselves in one way to one group of people when they're really another way around another group of people, or they just try to but specifically if you are struggling with thoughts around your gender identity, or thoughts around your sexual expression in the world and the way people are going to think about you. You may be playing a good game or thinking you're playing a good game by fooling people, but when you fool people, you also kind of tend to lie to yourself and say, I can be happy and I can live this double life and it won't be miserable for me. And usually it turns out to be pretty miserable. I don't think anybody really chooses to be questioning their identity in any way. And if you find yourself questioning your identity in any way, that can be a really miserable place to be, like you are trapped. But this is a trap of your own making. Okay, you're only imprisoned because you don't want to tell the truth. You got to tell the truth to yourself, and you got to tell the truth to the people around you, especially those people that you love. There may be some loss when you attempt to free yourself, because there are going to be those around you who see you who see you even for the game you've been playing, or see you even for the lies you've been telling yourself and others about yourself. And there are always going to be those that were happier with you when you were lying, right? And we don't need those kind of people around us. So they might fall away when you start to become honest, and understand that when you become honest, you'll attract people who can be more kind to you and less delighted to see you miserable. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Gemini, and this is a time for really playful, creative communication, really, finding different ways to express ourselves, looking for different ways to express ourselves, wanting to hear really good ideas and stories, wanting our minds and our analytic faculty to be stimulated, okay? So that's to me a really positive time of year. I'm a talkative person. I like to relate with other people, and this is a time when we do that. We kind of share our intellects together. And Gemini is the twins, so there's a bit of a duality nature to Gemini. In that we can be of two minds about a thing, right? We can feel two different ways about one thing, or we can not necessarily be two minds, but be conflicted with ourselves over something, right? So it's, that's something to keep in mind. And really, if you're feeling that way, like if you're conflicted or if you feel like you're of two minds about something, it's just an indication. That's just Sun and Gemini telling you we need to do some research. We need to read into this a little bit further. We need to find out more. So, feel free to do that, Suns and Gemini. We want our brains to be stimulated, so go learn something. And then the moon is a waning gibbous in Taurus right now. Waning gibbous is the time when we are really getting to the end of, starting to tie up, getting into the end of cleaning things up and pushing things out. Okay, this has been the time of release, the week of just letting things go, pushing things out, stuffing things, but also outdated attitudes, notions, and dispositions that are no longer working for us. They have to go, especially as we get so close to the new moon, because with the new moon, we hit that reset button, and then it's time to go for increase again when we start setting new goals and laying down new intentions, right? So now's the time to tie up those loose ends, get that stuff pushed out, and, clean house, literally and figuratively. Give yourself try to give yourself a nice clean slate from which to start your next creative cycle. On the moon side today, we had that moon conjunct Uranus, and it's in the most inopportune sort of middle in the morning, right? So we might be feeling impulsive about something in the heart or the home. Conjunct tends to amplify impulsive to compulsive. So look out for that in yourself and people you keep close to you. And, if you're going to make a change, especially around the home or, to the schedule, that kind of stuff, please converse with the people that live with you and that you keep close so that they can keep up with the changes and be supportive, and help you remember what else it is that's important. And then on the sun side of the page today, Venus entered Taurus. This is a very comfortable place for Taurus. Venus is very receptive and open, and especially to receiving attention and affection. And Taurus is a very grounded and sensual planet. So it's a good time for romance. It's also a good time for sexy times if that's, on the menu for you. So, just enjoy that. Like, I love it that Mars is in Aries right now where it is right at home, and Venus is in Taurus right now where it is right at home. So, like we had that whole Venus retrograde, and then we had the Mars-Venus conjunct, and there was all that business. And now these two have landed in their home signs. Our sense of initiative and power is feeling, very well embraced, like right at home and very, very highly functioning. And our sense of receptiveness as well is right at home, feeling very well embraced and sort of right at home and functioning well. And then in the ongoing column over here, still making my little pictures. Somebody help me out. I'm just having way too much fun over here with markers and astrology. But, we've got a lot going on. And, what this really shows, conspiracy style, is that it's all connected, friends. So the sun is sextile with Jupiter. This is really golden good luck for the next couple of days at least. And anything you're going to bring your attention to, especially if you're going to act on it at this time, anything you want to bring your attention to, and anything you want to put your energy and activity into, that's what's going to see that expansion, that Jupiter positive expansion and growth. Okay, Sun is sextile with Mars too, that says pay attention and take action. It's time to take action. It's time to go. It's time to move. That's initiative with this sort of boost of focus and attention. So really it's asking us to take advantage of this expansive opportunity by taking action. And then Jupiter and Mars are also sextile with Mercury at this time. So, we can see the expanded plan and we can even communicate about it. Mercury is retrograde, so, we have to go slow and we have to consider the details and do more strategizing than committing, but we can definitely see the big plan and come to strategize for it. We can be taking action in terms of what it is that we are planning, so that's really good. And then Mercury is trine to Pluto, Mars is sextile to Pluto, so this is really like insight. This has really had people being able to truly see what's coming up from the subconscious for them, what's coming up from the shadow for them. This is really giving us perfect positive functioning to sort of work with what's going on the inside, in the underneath, what's coming up from the shadow in terms of those things we don't like to think about or don't normally deal with. But this is our beautiful opportunity to heal. And Mars says, go ahead and take action on what's coming up from Pluto, because that's going to bring about a good outcome as well. Pluto and Venus currently are square, and Venus is sextile to Saturn. And this says, I reach out for reassurance and I get it. But if I reach out for reassurance and I don't get it, I'm going to become insecure. And if I become insecure, I might act in some trifling or petty way that will definitely be called out, okay? Because Pluto is right here trine with Mercury, okay? It's going to come up, it's going to be seen for what it is, it's going to get expressed, and it's going to get called out, okay? So really, if you reach out for the reassurance from somebody that you're close to and you don't get it, ask for it again and be a little more direct and open. You can say, look, I was looking for reassurance from you and I didn't get it. Is there anything you can do for me here? And then, if it's a no, then it's a no. Then it's time to, then your insecurities are founded, right? And it's time to make a change in your expectations of that relationship specifically, right? But if you're not getting the reassurance, that insecurity will come in. Just, really try to deal with it on your own before you go. Try to deal with it in a diplomatic way is what I'm saying, instead of just acting out and being petty. And try to also give yourself some of the reassurance that you're looking for, because those things can be resourced from the self. And like with the Eight of Swords over here, some of these things we have to do for ourselves, right? We have to open our own eyes. We have to unleash the bonds that we put on ourselves, and we have to, sort of tell the truth to ourselves about ourselves, so that we can tell the truth to others as well. And with all that said, I'm going to turn over this card. Oh, we got the Ten of Pentacles. I love that, friends. So, Pentacles is Earth in Tarot, and Earth has to do with your physical, worldly resources, your body, your the nice things you have, your home, your car, that kind of stuff, the stuff you like to keep nice so that it still has value for you. And mostly and especially often it has to do with your financial resources, your wealth. So the Ten of Pentacles represents like an ideal expression of being well supported in a physical and financial way, okay? Like, you've done so well managing your earthly resources, and that's your health, your wealth, and your finances, okay? You've done so well doing that you've got, a nice home for you and your family, and, security is there, right? So, that's the ultimate expression of like physical security in the world. And Saturn is all about the stability and security, and Venus is all about the stability and security as well. Venus is more about security in terms of, I like to be able to draw in the resources that I need in terms of emotional resources and physical resources, and that makes me feel secure. Saturn is into doing whatever is tried and true, whatever has worked for us in the past. That's what we're going to do in the future. That's that sort of grounded, plotting worker mode that says, if I just manage my resources well, if I just keep going forward, keep doing the work, then I'll have a good outcome. And that's the good outcome that Saturn is working for. So I definitely see a lot of reassurance Venus sextile Saturn from this ten of Pentacles. That could be a tarot expression of Venus sextile Saturn right there. Really beautiful vibes and energy. And just a reminder that if you manage your material resources in the world very well, I see that keystone, right? Like it's almost like you start with, because you have to start with the keystone, right? And then build the other rocks in place or stones in place. So the fundamentals of, stick with the fundamentals of your resource management, your financial management, your wealth management, your health management. We know the basic fundamentals of those things, or if we don't, find them out and follow them, and you will be able to build something strong and supportive for yourself and your loved ones. Taken together with the Eight of Swords, I think a lot of people get into the Eight of Swords position thinking that they're going for the Ten of Pentacles position, right? A lot of us get into the world and we think, gosh, wouldn't the world just be great if I could, get all of the money in the world, get all of the money together, and, live a lavish life in big houses with fancy cars and that kind of stuff. And it's really that Ten of Pentacles that we have as an ideal and a really sort of glamorous, outlook on it. And we think, sure, and if I just do these things, if I take this sales position, or if I stay involved with this group or organization, they will get me to that Ten of Pentacles. But then we find out that to stay in that organization or group, we kind of have to hide from ourselves and others who we are. Again, we have to put up a front where people think we look very successful and happy, when in fact, we've used all of our own words and plans to put ourselves in this situation where we feel miserable. And, if you feel miserable, you can have all the money in the world. You're not going to have that Ten of Pentacles security. Okay. So again, opening our eyes, taking responsibility for ourselves, that is the beginning part of really being able to manage your resources, because it's not just, your ideas, it's not just your mind, it's not just your loving heart. This is about your body, right? Your bodily security and health. And if you're using your words and plans against yourself and not allowing yourself to be truly expressed in your life, then your body is not going to follow either. Okay. So your physical wellness, your mental wellness, and your long-term security depend on your ability to be honest with yourself and others. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate your presence here with me this morning. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.